Hello, everyone, and welcome to November 21st regular Legislative Committee meeting of the Town of Vegreville. I call this meeting to order at 3:03. I will be looking for a motion for the adopt the agenda. Councillor Curtis makes the motion. Any additions, deletions? Seeing none. All those in favor? Carried. Next, I'll be looking for a motion of our last regular legislative meeting. Councillor Warwa makes the motion. Any errors or omissions within those minutes? Seeing none. All those in favor? Carried. I will just let everybody know that Councillor Bullock is joining us on, what are we calling this? Confero. He's remotely checking in with us today. I hope you're feeling better, Councillor Bullock.
Eventually.
There you go. Good spirit. So no delegation, so we're going to start off with CAO Ling and draft bylaw.
All right, thank you, Your Worship. Protective Services Manager Mitch Newton is here to discuss the bylaw.
Thank you, Your Worship. The bylaw officer's bylaw hasn't been reviewed since 2018. Current bylaw is out of date when it comes to positions, titles, and approved authorities. The newly drafted bylaw officer's bylaw reflects approved position titles, authorities granted to the enforcement officers, authorities of our supervisors, and appointed approved authorities under the Municipal Government Act and the Provincial Procedures Act. If passed, this bylaw will repeal bylaw number 14, 2018, which is the current Municipal Enforcement Officer bylaw, and this draft bylaw will be introduced for review and presented to Council for discussion at the next Legislative Committee meeting on December 5th. We asked for two options there. Option number one is you review the draft bylaw and discussion on December 5th at the Legislative Committee meeting, or number two, forego the review of the draft bylaw, retain the current bylaw 14-2018.
Okay, thank you very much, Mitch. What are the big changes that you're proposing in this new bylaw?
More so position titles, Your Worship, to reflect current positions that we have with the town of Vegreville. For example, no more town manager or community services director. It'll be generic terms with the chief administrative officer and supervisor now. That way, if position titles do change later on down the road, those authorities will still be granted without changing the bylaw. Current authorities that are granted will also be placed in the bylaw to advise the enforcement officers what all their authorities are, and that'll be on there as well.
So nothing earth-shattering being changed, just some titles and a little bit about what their responsibilities are?
That's correct. Their responsibilities and our supervisor's responsibilities as well.
Okay, does anybody have any questions regarding this bylaw? So if there is any questions, I don't know if everybody's read it all through and stuff, but if there is, if we could get it back to CAO Ling and her and Mitch can talk about it, because we'd like to get this passed at the next regular meeting, council meeting, correct?
Currently, we have it scheduled for discussion on December 5th legislative meeting, because you guys have only had this for a very short time. That gives you an opportunity to read it and read the prior bylaw. But if you guys can get through it in the next day or two, we can easily put this on the next council meeting, which is Monday, if council feels that's enough time for them.
Well, if we look at it side by side with the other one, there's not a lot of changes.
No, it is pretty much mostly just the title changes and just a little bit of cleanup, but all the same pertinent information is in there, yes.
So is there anybody that needs a working session on the next ledge meeting, or go ahead, Councillor Bullock?
I took the time and I did have time to read it through since I've been sitting here doing nothing else. And it is very good and well written, so I would have no problem going at this coming Monday council meeting with this. So. And I think everybody else will find it straightforward and easy.
Yeah, go ahead, Councillor.
Yeah, Your Worship, I as well have looked through it, and I find nothing standing out.
Yeah. So I don't know if we need to put it on the next ledge agenda. I think that Monday we'd be ready to go. I mean, there's nothing controversial in here. It's basically, and, you know, the MGA tells us, and then the Police Act tells us exactly what we're allowed to do, so it's just, like Mitch said, just some changes that were very simple, so.
Okay, we'll bring it back on Monday for all 3 readings.
If somebody does have a problem before Monday, please just get a hold of CAO Ling, and we can address or any questions you have. She can help any concerns you have. Okay, thank you. So that's pretty much the council meeting. Lads meeting. Okay, well, I guess we'll go to roundtable discussion, and this is basically to find out what you've been hearing in the community, and we'll start with Councillor Warwick.
Okay, I had 2 that I was going to bring forward. One is obviously a more serious one, and then one is more community spirit. The first one, I got 2 different discussions in the last maybe week or so, and it was about affordability, particularly with the cost of utilities. They're recognizing the fact that the town has nothing to do with that, but they, you know, a couple of them were encouraging us maybe that we have a bigger voice, and that maybe for continued advocacy to the province to address some of these issues. I mean, I know we talk a lot about items that are important, like carbon taxes and whatnot, but on our general bill, I think it's a fair statement to say that most people's concerns sometimes are more around the distribution and cost. So both conversations were just asking us to lend that voice again that we're hearing from the residents. A lot of people actually have been watching our meetings and our budget discussions. One of the comments they made was that they do think that we have, well, the one lady in particular said she does think that we're doing our best to try and not see large raises, and when you look at it, it's not huge increases, but these other items in their life are still massively impacting them. And when they're starting to talk about combined utilities being the same total as some people are paying on their mortgages, that's somewhat concerning. So just an advocacy piece. Then the other thing that was brought forward was a feel-good moment, for more so. We were talking about the upcoming parade, which I think a lot of people enjoy seeing us do. And they mentioned, and now I don't think this has been done during my time, you can correct me, but they mentioned that they thought that once upon the time that the town used to go out around and have councillors judge houses for light up at Christmas. I don't know if that is a thing or not, but they said that it was kind of nice, and they liked the idea that the council maybe jumped in together and drove around and looked at some houses. So I don't know if that's something we'd consider, but just throwing it out there because it got brought forward to me. And that's it.
I do believe that stopped as a couple of councillors had their house egged for their voting. And at Christmas, yeah.
So that's all I heard.
I don't even know if there's even a committee in town that goes around and judges for the best light up in houses and stuff. But I don't know, maybe we can leave that, might be getting a little late in this year, but for next year, maybe there could be a little committee put together that somebody that works at ATCO that would like to take that on. Anyway, moving forward. Thank you. Councillor Bullock. I know you've been home not feeling good, so what have you been hearing?
Well, I actually did sit on a meeting before the ledge today with the Vegreville and Seniors Task Force. Something that's coming up is a thing called Men's Shed, and it's done by the Vegreville Cares Coalition Project. They're going to be having a meeting at the FCSS meeting room on November 30th at 1:30 p.m. I don't know a whole lot about the Men's Shed program, but it's a program that gets men together, seniors, whether youth or anything, and they just, if they want to talk or come up with something. I don't know a whole bunch about it. I was invited to attend that meeting as well, so they're putting a call out for men who just like to come and sit on that meeting, see if there's anything that interests them or of that group. I sat in on that meeting because I heard about it coming up. And since we had just established that ad hoc committee for transportation, they were going to be talking about a transportation grant. And I wanted to let them know that this committee has just been set up. So it was just more of a knowledge thing to let them know what we did. So I gave them a rundown about it. And they were talking about transportation grant, which I was looking for last night as well. And what's the name of it? Geez, I didn't write it down, but that's okay. I'll get it to the rest of the committee, and we'll have a chat about that as soon as we can get everything together. I did let them know that we're going to be looking for other members to join this committee as well. So they were excited to hear that. That's about all I got.
Okay, but thank you very much. Councillor Barry.
Thank you, Your Worship. I have to admit, I haven't been around town for a little while. I've been out of town. So I haven't really heard anything, and I will have to say this much, though. I haven't heard anybody complain about snow removal.
Andy.
Thank you.
Councillor Lemko.
Thanks, Your Worship. I sat in on a ASA meeting yesterday, which is the Alberta Association for Immigration Services Agencies, and they were talking about the Ukrainian, and just for information purposes, in 2024, the plan, federal plan, is to encourage 485,000 immigrants into Canada. So that's the number that they have out there. Right now, as of November 7th, there was 926,000 Cayuit visa applications approved, which is astounding. And so far, about 213,000 Ukrainians have moved to Canada and are making their homes here. So that's it's an interesting comment. Right now, there's 44,200 of those Ukrainians settled in Alberta, in across 203 communities. So it's interesting to see how populated Alberta is becoming with Ukrainians and settling here. So it's good news that they keep coming, and we keep finding places for them, and they keep working in our towns. I had one resident call regarding the tenders for grass cutting. And the question was raised around what's the process, and is it advertised in our local papers, or how is that done when it comes timing and all that. So I said I'd bring it up and see what the answers were for that individual. So I'm not sure, C.O. Ling, would you know the answer to that, or can you get it back to me on that?
I can get back to you on.
Right, yeah, I don't know, I couldn't respond to it. I said I'd ask, so.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Councillor Curtis.
Thank you. No calls or anything for me, but just a reminder about the Christmas light-up on the 24th, coming up here soon. I guess I did get one question, and maybe Jameson, you'll know the answer to this. Do we have a time for the Coca-Cola truck yet? Because people saw that was to be determined.
6:30 to 8 p.m. the Coca-Cola truck will be set up at the Vegreville Co-op parking lot.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And I will be attending the parade. I thought I wasn't, but I will be attending. So I'll be there, throwing candy, Santa hat on, all that good stuff. The other thing for me is this week I'll be attending the FCSS conference in Edmonton with our FCSS members. Councillor Bullock was supposed to come, but obviously he's under the weather, so I'll be going to that. And what's nice this year is there's always different sessions set up throughout the different days, and our FCSS here was actually asked to host one this year. So congrats to them for that, and looking forward to see what all goes on there. And that's what I got.
Okay. Well, I think the last few days we've all had one hot topic on social media, and what we've been brought to our attention by many concerned people in our community regarding some dogs that were looking for a good home. So Mitch, if you would give us an update on what you've been doing to rectify that situation.
Thank you, Your Worship. When we were made aware of the situation, I spent pretty much every day on the phone talking to every resource that I possibly could come up with. A lot of internet searching for every kennel that I possibly could in the province, and basically everybody turned me down for 7 dogs that were determined to be located. Within consultation with the SPCA, they stated that they had no room for the dogs, but they would be willing to transport the dogs if we were able to find the room. Up until literally Friday of this past week, the SPCA we had no place for these dogs. The SPCA last minute at about 5 p.m. gave us a call, and they found a replacement for the dogs. 2 dogs were adopted out in the members of the community, and 5 of them were taken to a rescue in Parkline County. The other 2 dogs that are still on location are the mom and dad of the puppies. Thanks to Prairie Tales, they have paid for the spay of the female dog that's there, and she was spayed this morning and should be picked up here later today. And then we are working to try to find a solution for the individual living in there.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Mitch, for all your work you put into that. And I hope that people understand that here in town at the Prairie Tales facility, they have no capacity to take on that many dogs. And I just want to thank you for going the extra mile and making sure that these dogs are going to get to a good home. So thank you very much.
Good job, Mitch.
Okay, so up next, we have Director's Highlights, and we're going to start with Director Lefebvre.
Thank you, Worship. Today's update will be New Edge, our force main and lift station project. We have a construction start meeting for November 28th. That's Tuesday next week, where we'll sit down with New Edge and their subs and go through scheduling and it's just good to see because we've been waiting. They have provided us things like their incident response plan, their traffic accommodation strategy, all these things that we need before they get started. So we're reviewing those. They're looking okay. We'll get those back to them. They want to start to assemble and use the south landfill yard as their office material storage, equipment storage area. So we're okay with that. So we'll have to get them some access to that starting Monday. And we'll get some things rolling. They should have their portable office in there, some equipment. They've got a little bit of items for storage, but not lots. So unfortunately, with the way thefts are, they don't leave things on the ground anymore that have value. They bring it in basically the day they need it. So there's nothing there to take, hint, hint. Yeah, and we're looking to be starting construction fairly soon. So that's an exciting part of this next big project we're taking on.
Yes, very critical piece of infrastructure for the future of our community. So, well, thank you very much for that. Next up is the CAO report. CAO Ling.
Okay, just some highlights since our last legislative committee meeting. One of our digital speed signs has been moved and placed on 45th Avenue between 48th Street and 49th Street to signal the traffic heading west from the arena. This was a conversation in the council reports or the round table at a prior ledge meeting. There was an inquiry about whether or not a four-way stop would work at the cenotaph there, and this is our start to collect the data. So that when you drive west from the arena, you'll see the speed sign there, and hopefully that'll let us know A, how much traffic is on that road, and B, slow everybody down coming up that little incline to that intersection. I attended the Remembrance Day ceremonies. I attended a webinar that was put on by the Local Government Administrators Association, the LGAA, and it was an overview of existing grants with municipal affairs. So that is that would have been the webinar that I was speaking about during our live budget meeting, where we learned that the LGFF, like the new local government framework funding that replaces MSI, is going to be very similar, but we don't have the exact information until December of this year. There's been lots of budget preparation in the last couple weeks for our first live budget meeting that was held last Thursday. I accompanied Mayor McPhee on Monday to meet with the Minister of Agriculture, and our term bylaw posting has closed, and interviews have been started. They started today, and we have some more on Friday. And in total, we received 35 resumes for that term position.
Nice. Excellent. Okay, thank you very much. And now we're going to go to Jameson Brown. And Jameson, let's give us a little update what's going on in your department.
Sure. Bear with me here as I try to run the organ and sing at the same time. Obviously, we're getting set for the very Vegreville Christmas light up parade and the event, and looking forward to that. It's always a lot of fun, and it looks like to add on to Councillor Barry's comments, the weather's certainly cooperating for above normal this time of the year temperatures. We've got caroling and some free hot chocolate and popcorn at the Rotary Rendezvous Park to kick it off on Friday. That's going to be from 5:30 to 6, and of course, from there, your worship will count down to the light up, and the Telus Tower will be lit up, and the parade will start there and after down Main Street. From there, after the parade, the Vegreville Aquatic and Fitness Center, as well as the Wally Fadoon Arena, will be the site for some more festive fun. So we encourage you to come on down, whether it's for a public swim or to take in the Vegreville Rangers game. Also, the Coca-Cola the Coca-Cola truck will be at the Vegreville Co-op parking lot from 6:30 to 8. And anybody who wants more information, they can find it online or on our social media feeds, but that's again this Friday starting at 5:30, and looking forward to the photos with Santa as well. That's also going to be at the Aquatic and Fitness Center. Right now we've got some local contractors installing some lights on 3 very large trees at Pesica Park. This is a part of the 5-year plan to, over those 5 years, slowly but surely really light up Pesica Park and turn it into a bit of a winter wonderland. Looking forward to taking this first step, and we're hoping that those lights will be installed, ready to go by the light up on Friday. It looks like that's going to be the case. And finally, I've been working with our community engagement coordinator as well as corporate services to put together a bit of a public education piece for the annual small business declaration. Of course, preferential treatment or preferential tax rates, probably a better way to put it, for those businesses that have 50 employees or fewer. So you have to apply annually, you have to declare annually, and we are slowly but surely seeing some businesses declare, which is great to see, because we want to make sure they're taking advantage of that preferential tax rate. So something to be mindful of, and for more information on that, you can go to vegreville.com.
Can you tell us the date that the small businesses need to have that declaration done by?
Absolutely. In this case, it's going to be December 29th. It's always the last working day of the month of December. So because of the way the calendar falls, December 29th will be the last time or the last day you can. If I was talking to our corporate services team, if it just so happens to be where we're coming back to the office right after the holiday season, January 2nd, 1st, whatever the day happens to be, and we see a few residuals that have come in over that few day kind of odd time after the holidays, that those will be accepted. But if I were a business owner and I have fewer than 50 employees, I'd be making sure that you're taking advantage of getting that declaration form in. And it's very easy. You can fill the form out and email it, and I was told upstairs that we've had 2 more today, so that's great to see.
Excellent, thank you very much. So we look at some of the upcoming events. So I know I'm working the pickup for Food Bank on Friday. Anybody else? You are too? Hopefully we'll be using both our trucks again, 2 loads each, would be good. Again, the light up parade is on Friday downtown on the 24th, and it starts at 6 sharp, correct? And another thing that's on here right now is the RCMP Town Hall will be at the Social Center on November 30th. It's the 7 o'clock start, so hopefully we get a lot of people out there and get a read for where the detachment commander thinks we're going here. So, with that being said, is there any other business of council? Seeing none, we do have 2 different items in closed session. So if I could get a motion, Councillor Barry makes the motion. All those in favor? Carried. We're going to closed session at 3:26, Leslie. Thank you very much.